Dear viewers and all the university students who take Communicative English Part 1, per your comments in our channel Go Bay English, I have briefly presented the major components and activities of Communicative English Part 1. This course is designed ultimately to enable the students to develop communicative competence for academic purpose. They are expected to use the language accurately and fluently as much as possible. More specifically, the respective students are expected to listen and take note effectively from the lecture and other listening resources. They have to develop the skills of reading to comprehend or to understand written resources of different components and capable of writing summary for better understanding. Furthermore, they are also expected to develop skills of discussing and presenting their arguments orally. It has 5 chapters and chapter objectives. Each chapter consists of different components or contents and language skills interactively. The language skills mainly addressed in each unit include listening, speaking, reading, writing. Besides those grammar, vocabulary, and study skills, along with reflection, are incorporated. The 5 chapters are represented by 5 topics. For instance, Unit 1 is about study skills, and Unit 2 is health and fitness. Unit 3 is cultural value. Unit 4 is about wildlife. And finally, Unit 5 is about population. The language skills are used repetitively just to maximize exposure and practice for you all the learners. More specifically, Unit 1 is study skill and focused on the grammar aspect, like giving advice and asking for advice. The present perfect tense. When you come to listening and taking note from the lecture, read and make note, identify purpose of reading, discuss in English, writing a paragraph from reflective reading, vocabulary expansion or expanding vocabulary knowledge. These all skills are incorporated in Unit 1. In Unit 2, Unit 3, Unit 4, and Unit 5 consist of the same thing but different components. For example, Unit 2 is entitled as Health and Fitness. Under this unit, you have the topic of using conditional sentences to express ideas. The second, under listening case, listen and take note, this is repetition. And reading, read and identify the main idea of the text. And under speaking, you discuss in English about health and fitness. Under writing, write a descriptive paragraph about health and fitness. Finally, you are expected to guess the meaning of new words from the context. From the text given. Under Unit 3, which is cultural value, the grammar aspect inculcated in are using simple present tense, simple past tense, present perfect, and past perfect. Under listening, you are expected to listen and identify specific information from the lecture. Under reading, you are expected to read and comprehend and answer the questions, that is a specific and a general question from the text. You are also expected to speak or converse in English about culture and cultural events given in the unit. Concerning writing, under this unit you are expected to write short summary from your note taken from the lecture and revise a paragraph using peer feedback. Finally, vocabulary of this unit is still similar with the preceding unit, like guessing the meaning of new words from the context. Under Unit 4, the first, there is no grammar aspect is given. Under listening, you are expected again to listen and not talk, read and make note, predict the content, interact based on background knowledge concerning speaking. And the writing part, there is little thing to write. And finally, in vocabulary case, you're expected to explain what the denotative and the connotative meaning of a given word. Words can have these meanings, connotative and denotative meanings. The connotative meaning is a kind of meaning that is worked out from the context, or which is different from a dictionary or literal meaning, which is denotative meaning. So you're expected to work out the meaning, these meanings in Unit 4 of vocabulary section. The last unit under population, there is collocation, passive and active voice. Under listening, you are expected to predict the content of listening text. So prediction is listening ahead on what will be in the listening discourse. That will be genuine in the action. In reading case, you are expected to read and make note as usual. And read and something different is write summary or summarize a text briefly, focusing on the main ideas. Under speaking section, you are expected to interact through notes and the summaries. You summarized, you took note, and you have to interact these ideas with your friends and deskmates and with your lecturers. The writing session consists of reading and summarizing the article or the given text. So how we can summarize the given text, we will discuss in each unit, writing a paragraph and all the above components effectively. So the first, we would like to begin Unit 1, study skills. The ultimate goal, or ultimately, listening to the lecture is for better understanding the message of the discourse or the lecture. The lecture has intention, the lecture has purpose, the lecture has focused points that the lecturer presents. But it is a speedy and expertise presentation of wider area in academic setting. So unlike from the high school or lower level grade presentation, lectures focus only on the main point, but orally they present much topic within single period. There are two types of lecturing. One is basically gap lecture and block lecture. In block lecture, the lecturer dominantly uses all the hours, all the time allocated for lecturing. In that case, the learners have a chance of listening and note taking. However, in interrupted lecturing, the lecture stops in certain junction or topic after topic or concept after concept, giving chance to the learners to think critically and bring forth the prior knowledge, interact in pair or in group, work out meanings or understand the topic he presented. So currently we use this interrupted lecture in universities in academic setting. So as a study skill, the students should develop identifying what's the main point the lecture is focused. So note taking is a skill that the learner should develop. There he or she has to develop skills of selective listening, interactive listening, active listening. There are different characteristics of active listening. Basically, active listeners are well prepared to listen. They are strategic and they are interactive, and they ask themselves different questions, okay, and they predict what they're going to listen. They bring forth all the prior knowledge from their mind library and jot down so that they can compare and consolidate or maximize their understanding with the input or the external input presented by the lecture. So this one is the constructive approach case. Students or learners should bring forth their schema. Schema means their prior knowledge. They learned from their environment, they learned from their previous level of learning or academic settings, from their friends, from many more in social contexts. Concerning certain topic, they have their background knowledge. So learning is, in this case, constructive meaning by integrating external input with what we do have already in our mental library. So the main area here is the questions. What do you know about the characteristics of lecture? You should know this question or should answer special characteristics of lecturing and the lecture. How do the learners process listening strategically while listening to the lecture? We need to be strategic. Students should be strategic to process their listening. So scientifically, our researchers presented there are certain strategies or three processes of listening strategically. How do learners use their background knowledge to understand the incoming input? The background knowledge, the prior knowledge, has impact on the understanding of certain topic that the lecturer is lecturing. Therefore, effective learners bring forth their background knowledge, or they ask themselves what they know about a particular topic soon after the lecturer orally presented or written the topic on the board. So this would help to consolidate their understanding or making meaning. What do you know about the concept active listening, predictions, anticipations, selective listening, note-taking, and summarizing? These are some of the study skills the listener can use when he is listening. It may be pre-listening, while listening, or post-listening activities, but active listeners predict what to come next, what the lecturer would present subsequently. And they anticipate genuinely and listen selectively. Sometimes the lecturers give cues or clues. They may underline the specific point is very important. They put it in bullets, or else they put asterisks or hyphens, bullets, and different symbols to make you notice the significance of points he or she is going to lecture. So they focus on the content words, not function words. They use phrases of a word or two so that you can take a knock not in a focused way. What do you know about the concepts top-down, bottom-up, and interactive processing to better understand the lecture or the listening text? So these three concepts, top-down processing, bottom-up processing, and interactive processing, are mental process that we use to comprehend better the presentation of the lectures or listening texts. We basically bring forth what we know all from our mind library concerning certain topic. We make the relationship, our understanding first before the new input that would be presented by the lecturer. So when we bring forth what we know by using the contexts, the topics, our predictions, the pictorial illustration of the lecture, and otherwise, we bring forth all we have in our mind. That is, bringing meaning to the text from our mind. The meaning is in our mind. Then we bring forth to the text or to the listening discourse that the lecturer is going to present. The other is bottom-up processing. In that case, it is linguistic and text-based or discourse-based pointers. When the lecture presents orally, we listen to cues, we listen to signals, we listen to how the lecturer presents important pointers. It may be a word or word classes. It may be a sentence or a phrase. We focus on the content words and we use this linguistic knowledge to work out the meaning that the lecture presents, or else if it is the text of listening, we go through lexical aspects. For example, the word formation knowledge would help us to discern or to understand the message intended to convey, the sentence structures, the message in the sentences, the grammatical issues, the context, again, we use to discern the given text or listening discourse from external input. So the third one is interactive processing. Is effective students use both top-down and bottom-up processing activities. They bring further knowledge first and they take up the external input and decode it by interacting what they know with what they acquired recently or what they learned. In KWL, is the knowledge, the prior knowledge, and what they want is a W, what they want to learn from the external input, and finally they change this to the learning schema. How these processing strategies, that is top-down, bottom-up, and the interactive strategies, are linked with the phases of listening. Do you know different phases of listening? We do have pre-listening phases, while listening phases, and post-listening phases. The first pre-listening phases, we have pre-listening activities. And these activities are general questions that activate our prior knowledge. They trigger our mental library and we work forth or we bring forth all what we know about the particular topic the lecturer is going to present orally. Or we listen to the video or audios. So what do we know about that particular topic? The question is, for example, what do you know about the topic, right? How important it is? What are you expecting to listen from the listening lecture, and so forth? It's a very general question. You listen for the gist and try to give general idea about the particular topic. The pre-listening activity requires preparation. It is preparing physically, that is preparing your materials, for example, your exercise books, your sitting places, your pen, pencil, and getting ready, taking the front line to sit and listen and paying attention and so forth. There are several ways of preparation. And while listening, already you activate your prior knowledge in pre-listening, and while listening, just you are receiving external input, the new knowledge presented by the lecturer. Here you focus on the main pointers and take note. A few phrases or words can suffice your note. You don't have to write all sentences and paragraphs or grammatical issues that the lecture uses to present the topic. Rather, you focus on the content words. We do have content words and function words. The function words are grammatical words that do not carry meaning by their own. But the content words are capable of reminding or creating image in the mind to remember later. You may use symbols, abbreviations, contractions, and the like so as to catch up with speedy lecturing, and you will develop this into paragraph or into prose summary within a short period of time after the lecture. Otherwise, it is likely to be forgotten because you use symbols, abbreviations, and only word level note that would be forgotten easily. So at the end of this video, you will be able to practice the 3 processing strategies. By the way, before that, the last post-listening activity, in this case, you interactively summarize the pointers you worked out from incoming inputs, that is the lecture, and your own knowledge, and consolidating this all, you construct a new meaning and write down the summary, answer questions briefly, and complete your notice. So the interactive processing is held in post-listening, while in while listening is bottom-up processing, and the first pre-listening is linked with top-down processing. You will see practically this and use these strategies and phases of listening in effective way. So basically, in short, we have top-down listening, as we mentioned, that is listening to our mind before listening to external input. To our mind, we refer to our mind vocabulary, what is deep-rooted in our mind concerning that particular topic. We activate that prior knowledge, and we bring meanings from the mind to the text. We use knowledge of the topic, the situation, the context that this course is taking place, the objective of the conditions, the participants that engage in the conditions, and the expected outcomes. We consider this all when we process our thinking from top down. This will activate our prior knowledge and make comprehension relatively easy. For example, if I give the topic, my school, what comes in your mind? In school, what do you expect? Who are participants? What are the situations like? How the participants take the role to play? Which one of them dominate the situation? Expected outcomes again. Who take upper hand? What was expected outcome? What are furniture in that school? What exists in the school setting? Do you think about classroom situations? And so forth. That all came up, bring forth better understanding. For example, if I write the topic health center, what comes in your mind? What do you know about the health center? When you think of health center, who are customers? Okay, the practitioners, the patients, right? the services in health center. Right? Each things, items or utensils are used in health center. Contamination, terminologies, different things come forth from your mind when you see the topic. That is what we call prior knowledge or the schema. We use the situations, the conditions, the participants, okay, the expected outcomes, the procedures even to be held in that center, that all bring forth the prior knowledge and help us to understand better the upcoming bottom-up processing. Therefore, in other words, if you are foreign for the topic, if the topic is very technical and far away from your profession or your understanding or from your level of understanding, it is difficult to process listening activities. So therefore, lectures have to link the lecturing point and the topic to the knowledge of the participants who take the note and who listen as audience. So what comes in your mind and who are there in the school? What are the activities mainly take place? What are expected results? What are the materials in that school context? Okay. In other case, in health center, what comes in your mind again? Just extract all your prior knowledge about the topic. Consider the situation, the context, the participants, the potential goals, the possible procedures, expectations, many more that trigger your prior knowledge. We add new knowledge up on the existing one, that is constructing the bigger one from what we do have prior. We don't use in a separate way, in a segregated way. The knowledge is created in such a way. In bottom-up process listening, this bottom-up one is related to while listening activities and a process of using incoming input to comprehend the message or the new knowledge that the lecture presents. We use the words, the sentences, the cues the lecture uses, the discourse markers to work out the new understanding or message. We analyze and organize the new data provided externally by the lecturer and interpret it or make meaning by using lexical and grammatical knowledges and many more. So this bottom-up processing is a process of using incoming input, that is external input, and decoding it to compare with our prior knowledge and to consolidate the meaning we make up. The third one is interactive or integrating our prior knowledge with the external input or the new knowledge. This is what we call interactive processing. Effective students in the academic setting integrate the above two, that is bottom up and top down processing. They use pre-listening, while listening, and post-listening activities effectively, and they make meaning. They refine something new and consolidate the existing knowledge. The purpose is to gain a better understanding. In short, listening is a mental process. We have to be curious, and the topic should be interesting and relevant to our context and our level of understanding. In that case, we listen actively, in focused way, in selectively, and we make note and understand the message conveyed, linking with our prior knowledge. So active learners focus on specific points and general points. When you take a note, you don't have to go through all illustrations, all examples all extra explanations that the lecture provide. You don't have to listen each word, but for the idea, and you may write by your own word. At the same time, you don't have to copy down directly what the lecture says. Rather, you can use your own language, but the content or the topic should be maintained. In that case, effective listening will be achieved. Thank you very much for your listening. Next period, we will go through 80 points, what listening or pre-listening and what are activities of pre-listening, while listening and post-listening. At the same time, we would like to address giving and asking for advice. Thank you.